Morning friends, we are discussing about negotiations. Till the last lecture, I discussed about strategies and tactics. And the last thing that I have said, that when you find that there is a deadlock in the whole negotiation situation, or there is a heated argument going on, or there is lots of disagreements which are going on, that means the heat has been raised. At that point of time, give a pause. I suggested that. Now today I will talk about the issues like how to manage the negotiation. Okay? So managing the process is very, very important in the negotiation. I would always repeat saying that the negotiation is a game plan. That means you are playing a game. It's a given time within which you have two sets of players and you have one objective for each on each side, that is, each one is trying to get the best out of this particular negotiation, and now it's a process. That process has lots of grammar, lots of rules, lots of decorum and such. So how to manage this process, let me tell you. The first thing that you should try is in the negotiation as a part of the process is it should be smooth sailing. Negotiation should not lead to a heated argument, should not lead to situations where there is a deadlock situation. It's a smooth sailing. It should be sailing smoothly. It all depends on the way you begin. I said that crisp beginning, very focused, to the point. So whenever you are beginning it, that sets the tone for the entire negotiation. When you enter the negotiation room or the negotiation table, how do you look like? What's your eye contact level? Whether your eye is dilated, whether it looks very soft, sober, welcoming, helpful, all these will matter. In a negotiation, suppose you go with a very constricted eyes, very tough, looking very arrogant, looking very positive that you will win. That means you are going to play. This kind of things will set a negative tone in the beginning for the negotiation. It may so happen that the negotiation will go on smoothly finally, but initially everybody will take guard against. It's just like the football game where the players are demonstrating roughness, a kind of rogue, the kind of arrogance right from the beginning. It happens in cricket as well. Now, any such game where one party is showing arrogance right from the beginning, then it's a poor game, I would say, because it's not a very smooth game. So what you do is you have to have a smooth sailing. In the smooth sailing, which can be done through even brainstorming. That means brainstorming is an idea where each one, whether opponent or you are going to give your opinion, you are going to put forward your points, your demands, your claims, your requests and suggestions. So brainstorming is one which leads to the smooth sailing. Brainstorming should never be converted into a heated argument. Then comes the equal opportunity. You remember I said during the group discussion meeting that you have to give equal opportunity to everybody. Every individual must get the opportunity to speak. Here as well, in the negotiation, it cannot be one-sided. It has to be equal opportunity. That means both the teams should see to it or ensure that both the teams are getting equal opportunity to express even the disagreements. Then comes the speaking with responsibility. Every member in this particular teams, they should be speaking with responsibility. If during negotiation, every point that is raised, every point that is floated on the table, they are with the responsibility, sense of responsibility or being expressed with responsibility, automatically it becomes a smooth sailing. And then it should be leading to the closure. See, the closure item, I am bringing it here. Any negotiation, a positive negotiation must lead to a closure. This closure is basically closing the deal. Whatever is the objective of either party, but closing the deal is the best possible result of a good negotiation. And if it is smooth sailing, when you would say that it's a smooth sailing, when it led to a closure, and the closure with equal opportunity. That means I would say, taking cue from my earlier lectures, maybe both are winning, so it's win-win. Even if it's win-lose, but then also it's a closure. Like games, again, the football games in which one has to lose, one has to win. Whoever is losing, suppose after that, immediately after they start having, scuffle, they start having fights and all that, that's not a smooth sailing. Smooth sailing is very, very rightfully, both the teams played their best and given the opportunity, people have put the ball in the net of the opponents and they scored. And then finally, when the final whistle is being, blown by the referee, then both of them are shaking hands with each other and leaving the ground. That's what is a smooth sailing. But if it goes into scuffle, it goes into fight, it goes into slangs uttering or say abusing each other, that's not a smooth sailing. Same is in negotiation, in which when you are entering, it should be smooth, sober. I don't need to elaborate what is that smoothness, soberness, because I have talked enough before on the soft skill. But the thing is, once you enter, as if it's an aura of your company which is entering, the negotiation room is empty, your team is entering, somebody is sitting over there. It may be the full team waiting for you, or it may be nobody. But the thing is, at any point, it should be an aura of your company that should be reflected, a good aura of your company reflected when you enter. And then one by one members come in, and then you might find that everybody is coming, you shake hands, you give a sweet smile, you exchange pleasantries, and then you sit for the negotiation. Till the point you sat for the negotiation, it is a very harmonious relationship that you have. You are setting the tone for smooth sailing. And then after that, when the negotiation starts, you start reading one by one points. Either they read it or you read it. They means your opponent is reading, your client is reading, or you are reading. Once you are doing this, it is setting the tone for the business. No longer pleasantries. It is now the business, and all of you are very, very serious. You are talking every sentence with full responsibility and authority. And in case you find that during negotiation somebody is saying something without any sense of responsibility or reflection of responsibility, the negotiation now will be floating. Nobody will take a decision because they know that this person is not the person of authority, and he has come here just to be present over here, and ultimately it almost appears to be killing time. That is not good. So it should be smooth sailing. It should not be floating. What I mean by this is, see, you take a ship in the water or the boat in the water. There are three situations that you have. The boat is being, you are sailing the boat is moving forward. Another situation, you are rowing, but the boat is not going anywhere, it's just floating, and it's maybe rotating on that same particular point. This is a second situation. And the third situation for the boat could be the most disastrous, that it sinks. Negotiation is the same situation. That particular negotiation boat should be always sailing forward. It should not float. That means if you have 2 hours time, 3 hours time, whatever is the time, then the negotiation should lead always towards the forwardness. That means it should be going forward and not really floating. That means there should be least chances or probability of getting into indecisions or disagreements. And the final one is safe from sinking. My suggestion, dear friend, is this: when you are negotiating, you have gone with the purpose. You have gone with the purpose of getting something or also giving something. It's not one way. Here, you should see to it that it should not float. And also you should see to it that it's not going to sink. This is the point which is very, very important in terms of managing the process of negotiation. Managing this process of negotiation is very critical. And in these cases, we have such players called coordinator. The coordinator is a person who is going to look into it that the whole negotiation is going towards, or rather moving forward, not in leading to the stalemate or indecisions or deadlock situations. The situation is, you have prepared significantly, given a lot of time, lot of manpower in the company has been spent on deciding how to negotiate, what to negotiate about, what would be the strategy, what will be the tactics of getting through what you want, what will be the kind of concession that you are going to give. About giving concessions and other things I will discuss in my next set of lectures. But the thing is, quite often it happens that you also decide that what is the lowest price that you are going to accept. Yesterday I was talking about these particular points. Now, when you see that it is not reaching such particular points, you keep on selling. Keep on sailing, not selling, sailing. That means you let it go, let it float, let it go, but not float in the same situation, and neither should sink. And if you see there is a situation that because of the disagreement, it is likely to sink, then immediately take guard against and see to it, find out, immediately innovate, discuss with your friends and colleagues to find out that how can you save the negotiation from sinking. I'll tell you one more thing, friends. In the negotiation team, you remember there is something called stopper, blocker. Person who blocks, basically he decides that okay, now it has to be sunken. And what they do is they give throw such statements which makes the whole negotiation futile at that point of time and closes. Negotiation does not take any positive decision. It may not also take a negative decision like say no more negotiation, but the thing is at that point of time no further negotiation, no further discussion on this issue. We will think about it later, we will get back to you once we are ready with it. This is how the whole thing is. Then comes a situation where the tricks of countering. Since it's a game, then naturally it's just like one person is trying to override over you and you are trying to contest or counter and to get the benefits. In fact, both the parties are trying the benefits for their own. Now, the tricks of countering is important. Here, my first suggestion is play the game fairly. See, dribbling and fouling in football are there. Which one is positive, which one is negative? Dribbling is positive, fouling is negative. Now, if you have a fair, no player contesting you or countering you, you take the ball forward towards the goal post. That's very rare in the negotiation. You will not see a situation in the negotiation that you are simply sailing and others are keeping quiet and not obstructing you. No way, because the negotiation starts with the idea of saying no or a refusal. So naturally the no and refusal now has to be negated through the negotiation in which the game now has started. If it has started, every point that you put forward you will be contested or countered, and every point the opponents place forward you will be contesting or countering. That does not mean it's negative. You are giving a point against that particular point in which you are likely to otherwise lose. It's true for either party. So play the game fairly. So as it is said very rationally, universally true, that any game that you play with the opponents, you don't make fouls. Same is here. It should be a fair play. And both the parties should try to see that it is a fair play which is being played. In fact, the most enjoyable game is where the entire game had been a fair play. Same is for the negotiation. Negotiation's end result should be, even if you do come to a disagreement, it's almost like you have enjoyed the negotiation, though you have disagreed for your personal reasons or this company's reasons, but you have at least played fair. This is important. And also another important thing in countering is encourage client to play the game. See, quite often in the negotiation what happens is you are playing the game, you are ready for playing the game of negotiation. You are ready with your points, but you are finding that your opponent is passive. I can caution you in this. This passiveness of your opponent is also a game plan, a strategy, a tactics. You are saying something, there is no response coming. You are saying something, no contesting is coming, no objection is coming. If you see that something which you are asking which is not very rational or reasonable, and your opponent is not asking questions, not countering, not contesting, be extra careful that they must be playing a game. They have a strategy, they have a tactics. It's simply, I always say in this forum that it's basically the potential energy which is being stored by the opponent by not speaking, not contesting. If the potential energy rises at one point, when it breaks its limit, it becomes a high force kinetic energy. So the thing is, if you find that you are saying your points, you are saying one by one, several points you are saying, an opponent is quietly listening, all the members are quietly listening, not contesting, not countering, not objecting, not even agreeing, then you be very sure end of the negotiation a bad urge of question will come to you as a kinetic energy. The entire flow of questions will come in such a manner you will be caught unaware. So friend, it is not a very easy game. Negotiation is a kind of total mind play, intellectual play, how you play it. It also, you gain this particular experience by negotiating several times. Not necessarily from the first time you will win, and it is also not necessary, I said repeatedly, during negotiation, it is not necessary that you will be, if you had been winning all the negotiations in the past, you will be winning the next. It's like every game is a fresh game. It starts and then it ends with a result. So if you are a good negotiator already, please don't have that self-complacence, and you don't think that you are going to win the next negotiation, because there can be a smarter person with a smarter points and countering points which is going to let you lose this particular negotiation. Next is how you counter. This trick is a very, very interesting trick. See, my research is bringing me to all these kind of ideas based on my experience. Not only that, I do see during negotiation, even if I am not a very strong player at that particular negotiation, but I see, I watch, I see the results, I see the process. So all these points which are bringing forward here, it's basically comes from the experience. My suggestion is during negotiation, continue to play till the matter is in your favor. It's something like, even if a time is given. An example let me give you. Suppose you have taken an appointment for negotiation and the time given is half an hour. At the 25th minute, you are finding that you did not get the things in your favor. You are contesting. The discussion is going on. It's not a heated discussion. It's a very, very smooth discussion. Smooth sailing is going. But at 25th minute, you find you have not got your result. You haven't got your result. If it is so, in such cases, you should now keep on playing till the whistle is blown, saying that the game is over. See, the thing is, during negotiation, what happens is half an hour time is given. Everybody knows that it can go a little beyond half an hour, but certainly not for the entire day. So if it is half an hour, and then the opponent is also seeing that 25th minute, we have not reached any conclusion, we haven't reached any agreement, we haven't reached any closing the deal. So the thing is, they will also keep on playing. But you are negotiating in this. So what you do is, you should keep on playing. Don't give any hint that don't ask, shall we continue? It's 25th minute. Don't ever ask. That will be very unwise. Don't ask. You simply see your clock. You find it's 25th minute. Nothing has really progressed much. Nothing at least in your favor. So what you do is you keep on playing till the time they say, okay, now gentlemen, we have to conclude it. We have to come to a consensus or a decision or an agreement. Till then, that is I would say a pre-final whistle of the referee. That okay, now it is time that we have spent enough time beyond 30 minutes and we need to now come to a conclusion. But you have seen that it's still not in your favor. If you find that still it is not in your favor, then buy some more time and see to it that you continue to play till it is in your favor. This is a very important trick of negotiation. That's why you'll find the people who are coming as a push seller in your house, door-to-door seller. You say, I don't require it. He will tell you another inputs, and he will expect that you will give a reply to a response to that. If you keep on saying no, 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 you will not find that he has left your door. He will continue till the point you say, okay, let me think about it. Then he will ask, then can I come tomorrow? Shall I give you a call in the morning? Is tomorrow? And then can I come in the afternoon? That means what he is doing is negotiation. He is extending till tomorrow, till something happens in his favor. But there are also contrary to it. Like say, if you find that it is not in your favor, if you find that the whole thing is going not in your favor, you want to bring it to your favor, you continue. But at the same time, you also see, in case you find that you have to stop this because it will never go into your favor. In such cases, you should be very, very straightforward and saying, there is no point discussing. We have entered into the exit domain, and now I think we should leave. And you say goodbye and leave. It's just like door-to-door seller or the push seller who comes to you, to your door. You say, oh, it's a wonderful product. The way I do it, I never say I don't require it. I don't say I don't like it. I don't say the price is high. I have never said it. I always appreciated his product first. I said it's a wonderful product, but I already have. The moment I say I already have, then he knows that I'm not going to buy two. Then he says, okay, what's the age of that particular product? Can I see? I say, no, you cannot see, because that is not the leverage I've given you. But the thing is, I say, oh, it's about 5 years old and still working. Don't bother. Then he asks that, when do you think that you will be replacing that? I'll say, okay, after about another 5 years. Basically what I've done, I've just pushed him 5 years behind. This is the kind of trick of countering which you have to do. Now, in such cases where you know during negotiation, in the business negotiation, that is not going to come in your favor anyway, then you decide the exit domain. You work out the exit domain. You say, this is the exit domain. Now I am entering into the exit domain. I have to move. I have to leave this place. No point wasting any more time. That's why you'll find that many of the seller, after some discussions and all, they say, okay sir, thank you very much, if you need, you give me a call. Basically he kept a pleasantry back to you saying, please give me a call. He knows that you'll never call him, but he says it as a courtesy, and that is what is a good skill. That's a people's skill. That's a professional skill. Now this is important. There are certain situations in which means you have to listen to your inner voice, and this is the trick of countering. What is the trick? Listening to the inner voice, what is the trick in it? The trick is basically whatever is seen is being discussed. Whatever is seen in the paper is being discussed. What is being spoken is being discussed, you know. But your mind is saying something, your inner voice is saying something, not measurable, not really predictable as well. It may come out anytime. Suddenly you start feeling, why am I wasting time in this negotiation? It is not going to get any headway. I am not going to get this contract. It seems that they have somebody else in their mind. They are unnecessarily trying to reduce my price so that I say no. Why should I say no that way? Let them say what is the price, and then I refuse it. You know, sometimes your inner voice is saying, no point taking this contract. This inner voice is basically a countering point. Another thing happens. The opponents are putting demands after demands, the claims after claims, or concessions after concessions. Your inner voice is saying that you can always give the concessions, but at the cost of the quality of the work and the manpower usage in your own office. You know that. Once you know this, your inner voice is saying, dear, don't go forward. Simply refuse this agreement. Don't have to negotiate further. Stop this. Come out of the whole zone. You first come out of the zone of possible agreements, then come out to that particular zone where there's a disagreement. There's a process. You cannot jump to the end, come to the disagreement. So that means you have left your comfort zone much before, you have come to the disagreement zone, and then now you come to the end of agreement. You know, that end, at that particular level, what you do is the end domain that you have, exit domain that you have entered, then you start saying, okay dear, we can talk later, maybe we can communicate later, let me go back to my office and discuss with my chairman, let me work out with my production team, let me work out with my sales marketing team. That means basically you are buying your time to come out of it. Okay, so, but listen to your inner voice. If your inner voice is giving some negative signal, not necessarily that you have to follow, but you should pay respect to it. In such situations, what happens is you follow your mind, not the heart. What happens is, in the whole sales situation, I'll discuss this in my next lectures, is this, it's an emotional play. People every time not necessarily buying with their mind being applied. The impulse buying has come, which is not out of the mind, but out of the heart. I like it, not I need it. If it is I like it, then it's impulse buying, and it comes from the heart, and I need it. That means I do require it, other than that I'll have trouble. It's a mind saying. In negotiation, in the trick of countering, in this I would always suggest that listen to your inner heart, also take care of your mind, what your mind is saying. Don't go by heart. Sometime, of course, we do. A friend is asking for something. Through negotiation, you say, okay dear, you are my friend, or a client, you are my client, as a loyalty will give you this. That you are doing out of your heart, not out of your mind. But the thing is, certainly there is a calculation which you have made, that by giving this concession or the privilege to your friend or the old clients or the earlier clients, you are not really running into trouble. And if you have calculated this very split secondly, then you have really thought about, through mind, not through your heart. Okay, then comes the barriers of agreement, to agreements. This is very, very important. The barriers to agreement, there are lots of reasons why it is done. I will go a little fast on this. See, sometimes it is dogmatic reasons. Okay, that means it's a rigidity of the members, rigidity of the points that brings barriers to the agreement. Then comes the losing the big picture. During agreement, if you lose the big picture, that if you agree to this, what's going to be your cost, what's going to be your gain. If you don't take cognizance of the big picture, then this is going to be a barrier. Then comes myopic vision. Quite often we try to see what is the benefit of this particular agreement, and we try to negotiate as best as possible to gain the best. Okay? But this is what is myopic vision. In fact, myopic vision leads to the losing of big picture. Myopic vision is what you are seeing now. The losing the big picture is what you are perceiving for future. That means, if suppose an example, let me give you, that you are negotiating for one project the first time with a client, and then at that point of time you are discussing. The client is a group who is young. Young means young in terms of entrepreneurship, and then you have taken the feedback and you have found that okay, they have a good opportunities in future. Today they may be young, they may be in a stress situation to pay you more. If you say no, I need what I need, then it's a myopic vision. You may lose, you may win. But the thing is, if you have a big picture that if I give a little bit of concession to them, if I give a little bit of comfort to them, then I win this particular project. At the same time, I win their heart. And then after that, if I give good delivery and a quality delivery, then they will think about me only in the next time and the time after. That means if I have myopic vision, I bag more, but I lose the future. But in the big picture, I may not bag much at this point, but I have a secured future. Then comes the lack of knowledge and understanding. Quite often, the barriers to the agreement is if it's a lack of knowledge and understanding of the subject, of the object, of the product, of the delivery, of the market values. There are so many such things which one has to really learn. Then comes the ego or authority. Ego of authority. Sometimes what happens is, if suppose you are contesting the opinion of a chairman who is sitting in the negotiation board, that chairman does not necessarily mean the chairman of the company. It's a chairman of that negotiation board. Every such board or committee has a chairman designated or nominated. Okay? And I'm referring to only those chairmen. And that chairman, who is really not the authority, actual authority is the chairman of the company. But this chairman is the authority of this particular committee, the negotiation committee. And then if he starts exercising his ego of authority, then it acts as a barrier to the agreement. That means if he says, no, I don't agree. If he doesn't agree, so he doesn't agree. That's what is the situation. Then comes the ego of monopoly or autonomy. Quite often, this is very, very true for large company whom you are negotiating with. The large company who really works on the monopoly or autonomy, they know that if you don't get the project from them, you don't get project from the others as well, because it's a monopoly they have. Suppose it's a monopoly of one particular kind of product that they are manufacturing and you are going to go for negotiation. In such cases, you will find that if they say no, then after that you really don't have much of a clients left. So this ego of monopoly and autonomy also becomes a barrier of agreement. This barrier is what I mean by this is, that means when you are going for negotiations and discussions, always there is a one-sided pressure on the weaker. So now basically I refer back to again the partner. The one that is with a higher monopoly or autonomy, they have the higher, stronger partner, and the one that you are negotiating with them, you have a weaker partner. That means if they don't give you the project, at least for 2 years, you don't have any other projects. So when there is a real short supply of the projects to be given to the consultants, in such kind of cases, monopoly and autonomy works. Nowadays, what is happening is the government agencies are getting all the large projects in the EPC mode or PMC mode for constructions or development, infrastructure, building or whatever. Okay, the large scale projects are generally being taken by the government agencies. The government agencies, the policy has changed in the country, so naturally government agencies which were originally a facilitator, now they are also a provider, they are also a constructor, they are also a project manager. So in such kind of cases, what happens is, when this big houses, they get the project by virtue of their own weights. What is the weight? The weight of their own teams, weight of their support of the government, weight of their privilege of getting without tender, the weight of their corpus. So with that weight, what is happening is all those public sector units originally being facilitator who are now being converted to all this executor, they are getting all the large projects. When they are getting the large projects, in such cases what they are doing is they are now taking sub-consultants. So, they are offering in the name of offering consultancy, basically they are subletting to the other consultants. If all the big projects are large scale projects of infrastructure and buildings and all that, housing and all that is going to such houses, then individual consultants like say engineers, architects, any other project managers and all, what happens is they don't have any individual access to the big projects, because big projects to bag you have to have a good amount of credential, and these companies, they have a strong credential over time earned automatically, which individuals don't have. Then these companies will be appointed by these big houses. So, there is a big house and a small house situation, and now the big house is negotiating with a small house for granting a project, taking them as sub-consultants. At that point of time, it is a pure monopoly on the autonomy that works, and they keep on pressurizing on the small consultants to charge less, though they know that charge is not very rational and not very realistic, but still they do it, otherwise they will be subjected to audit. If there are two such companies, small companies, who are now contesting against each other to get this project from the big house, and one of them has charged lesser, then it is very difficult for the big house to give it to the higher charger, because then will be subjected to audit and they have to write 2 pages of statements justifying why they have given it to the higher charging persons, higher quoting rates. So, these are the different situations which keep on going. So, there are barriers, and then the lack of authority. I said this before, during negotiation or during such kind of interactions, you should do a good research and find out that persons who are sitting in front, are they persons of authority? Maybe the chairman is assigned by the actual chairman of the company, but still he is not the authority. And if the decision maker is the chairman of the company, not this chairman of the board, chairman of the board is only supposed to take all these points and take it to the actual chairman for its approval, then in that case I would say this person is not the person of authority, but he is the person of authority for conducting this meeting. So, when you are trying to really win the projects, you have to read the mind of the actual chairman, not this chairman. That becomes a barrier. And when quite often you will find that you have gone for negotiation, you have wasted about 1 hour time discussing with 2-3 persons, and finally you came to know that it was only a time waster, because they didn't have any authority, and they simply kept on spending time to show their bosses that they had been negotiating, but actually they have no authority. Neither they can take a decision, nor they can give you suggestions, nor they can even advise you on improvements or reduction of your prices. They say, okay, fine, in that case it is fine, so I will arrange for another meeting with our chairman, and that day you please come forward again with all your points, and then we will discuss further. Simply means today is 1 hour time wasted. These are barriers. Then comes the fear of losing. That is also another barrier. In the coming to an agreement, if you are always afraid that you may lose, and if you lose, then you are going to run into trouble. You remember the worst consequences I said. Worst consequences if you lose a project, okay? And this is the killer for any negotiator. When a person is going to get a contract, in such cases, if they suffer from this fear of losing, that means they have a very weak partner, and if it is a weak partner, then in that case right from the beginning he is a loser. And if suppose there is a very powerful team and a weak team are playing on the field together in football, the weak team already knows that the powerful team has all the big players. At least out of 11 there are 5 who are stalwarts, the national level or international level players, and we don't have any. That means once you are entering the field, you are already lost. Your fear of losing is one of the killer, and that becomes a barrier. The fear of losing starts with a very poor start. To put forward your points for the claims of your fees and everything, if you have a fear of losing, then in that case right from the beginning you are a loser. And this is shown on the face of everybody, and then you start giving concessions, irrational concessions, irrational unjustified demands of the you rather comply to unjustified demands of the opponents. So, my friend, my suggestion is this: get rid of these barriers, don't ever show your weak partner to your opponent, and always show to them that you have a strong partner. Give them an idea that I don't care whether I get this project. You have invited me for the negotiation, I have come. If you don't give me this project, no way, I will go to another person, I will get another project. Okay? So, your fear of losing, if you don't show right from the beginning, even if you have, everybody has at the back of their mind, but even if you have, don't show. And that is a kind of skill, that what is in your mind and what your face showing, that is important. And that is why all this soft skill about, it is not one particular item, it is a combination of many. How you are looking at each other, how you are smiling, your face is, how it is glow, showing that you are very confident. So, your confidence, your verbal communications, your body languages, your eye contacts, your smile, your get up, everything will start playing a role in this to camouflage your fear of losing. So, this you try. And the last one is the foul play. This is a very strong barrier of our agreement. Foul play played by any party, foul play played within. This I will discuss a little further. Basically, it is, if I am saying that it should be a smooth sailing, then you should see to it that foul play is never a part of it. Okay? Foul play becomes a very, very bad items or barrier to these agreements. How this is done in the negotiation? Suppose everything is going on smoothly, it is almost coming to a closure, coming to an agreement. It has entered into a comfort zone of agreement. Okay? Now, this what I have said as ZOCA, okay, zone of comfortable agreement. That means you have entered into this through discussion, 1 hour, 2 hour discussion, and suddenly one person either in your team or in the opponent team plays foul. It's something like opponent team says, I still think the price that we are arriving at is not rational. Can you look into it again? Foul play. Because you have arrived at this particular price mutually discussing for last 2 hours, and then suddenly one person plays foul saying, I still think. If he says, I still think, that means he has to be now given an opportunity to clarify why he thinks. Even if it is not rational, right, justified, still as a part of the game he has to be given an opportunity to clarify why he thinks. Now, on your part, your side, one person says, sir, please don't accept this rate, please don't accept this rate. Suppose you have gone with the idea that you will be freezing in case for architectural fees, say at 2.5 for a large project where you know that you have sufficient amount of corpus to run this particular project, but you first offered 3.5. Client is saying, no, it's not 3.5, it should be 2.25. I get this example in the last class. Now, you are raising, and ultimately you said 3, and then he's saying, no, it's 2.75, 2.25, a little more, 2.3. And then at one point you say, okay, 2.5 agreed. He says 2.5, you say agreed. One of your colleagues suddenly springs up and says, I think, sir, we should give away this project, we should not take it, because 2.5 is too less to run our organization. That's a foul play, because he should have said right in the beginning or in the middle of the conversation. At the end, suddenly if he does it, there is an intention, ill intention. So that's why I say, dear friends, when you are going for negotiation, take stock of your own team. Own team can really sink your ship. One of the person on board can make a hole in your boat and let it sink. Same thing may happen in the negotiation. I have seen this happening. If you have understood this, that means basically what I am trying to say is, it's a full game that you are playing with your full conscience, full knowledge of the points, and then you are discussing about it. Okay? In this situation, what happens is you come to a point of agreement and try to remove all those barriers. So, I will discuss about these points further. Thank you.